Part 76. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 751. Chapter 751. Breathe a sigh of relief. Dazwang, what are you talking about? How can it be 10,000 yuan? Your niece is hospitalized for surgery, including the nutrition and medical expenses. The total cost is at least this amount. Where do you want your eldest sister and your brother-in-law to get this money? Qin's mother didn't expect Qin Dazwang to refuse, so she got anxious and stood up at the top of her voice, shouting at Qin Dazwang. Yes, brother, our family really can't afford this money. My brother-in-law's factory is no longer good. He has been unable to open a branch for a long time. His salary has not been paid for a year. I heard that it will be done soon. Bankruptcy. Brother-in-law really has no money and has no choice but to do something. He can't be so shameless to beg you. Look at your store being so big, it's just a little leak between your fingers, so just help your brother-in-law and your sister. No matter what, you grew up with your sister. Even if they are not related by blood, they are still relatives. Li Qiushan's words were a bit shameless. At first, Li Qiushan didn't expect to ask his brother-in-law to borrow so much money. I always think about my brother-in-law. I heard that my brother-in-law opened a restaurant in the city, but I always think that it is just a small store. But if you can borrow hundreds or thousands of dollars, you can still scrape it together. But when I came here and took a look at the situation, my brother-in-law's store had such a grand appearance, and there were only waiters, managers, and the cooks in there. It was a mess. It looked like there were at least 30 or 40 people there. My brother-in-law employs so many people, and the monthly salary alone is probably a lot. Li Qiushan was stunned. In other words, 20,000 yuan should not be a problem for my brother-in-law. When they walked in, just looking at how many guests there were in the hall, it was almost full. Brother-in-law made a lot of money this day. To their family, 20,000 yuan is an astronomical figure, but for my brother-in-law, it should be an easy task. Mother of Qin also agreed. Yes, Dazwang, seeing that your business is so good and you make a lot of money a month, this 20,000 yuan must be a small thing for you. But your brother-in-law doesn't get a salary every month, so he only relies on your sister. They have no money to live on, just pay it all, she is your sister anyway. Mom, you have also seen that my business is good, but I also employ a lot of people. Just renting this storefront costs 5,000 yuan a month, plus the messy wages of these waiters and managers, which means that each if I don't make money every month, I'll have to pay more than 10,000 yuan. Not counting the expenses for industry and commerce, taxes, etc., which cannot be missed at all. You see that business is good, but I am making small profits but quick turnover. After a month, excluding all these expenses, I can't make much money. That's a matter of 2,000 to 3,000 yuan. Just ask me for 20,000 yuan. This is really embarrassing for me. My sister's child is sick, and no matter what she does, she still calls me uncle. No matter what, I must help with this matter. Even if it means selling everything to borrow money, I have to find a way. But you can't let me figure this out alone. For the sake of our children, we should all work together. What Qin Dazwang said makes sense. Mother Qin said confidently. Your sister can think of anything. If she can think of a way, why would she use us to find you? Don't hide it from me. I have long heard that your store has been open for a year, more than a year. Even if you earning 2,000 to 3,000 yuan a month, I can save at least tens of thousands of yuan. Getting 20,000 yuan is nothing. Mom, although I earn 2,000 to 3,000 a month, I still have to have somewhere to spend money. I have to rent a house myself, and I have to be responsible for the expenses of my 2 daughters, so I have to spend money on everything. I can save whatever I can in the end. It's not much. Besides, I bought a car in the past 2 years and I don't have much money on hand. Qin Dazhuang felt that he had done nothing wrong, thanks to which he hid a lot of the money he made. If you can tell yourself that this mother can earn 20,000 to 30,000 yuan a month. It is estimated that this adoptive mother can immediately ask herself if she wants 200,000 yuan. Just look at it, and just ask her to take out 20,000 yuan directly without thinking about him at all, whether he wants to live or not. Didn't Zhang Xian divorce you? How can those two losers spend so much money a month? Giving them 20 or 30 a month is enough for their mother and daughter to live a good life. How much money can you spend on renting a house? I tell you Dazhuang, but you must not be heartless. No matter what, your father and I have raised you so big. When it's time for you to show your filial piety to me, and you just push back and forth like this, your sister's child is sick. You don't even pay for this, how can you go there with a clear conscience? Qin's mother still regards Qin Dazhuang as the son who was obedient to him before, and she always makes remarks about filial piety and disobedience. Come to threaten Qin Dazhuang. Qin Dazhuang sighed, Mom, no matter what kind of losers my two daughters are in your mind, they are the only two daughters in my life. I will never get married or have children. I'm good to them, that's what I should be doing. What I did back then was worse than an animal. Now I treat them better and compensate them for what they deserve. Don't tell me that you have a bad conscience. I think I have a good conscience. If you come and ask me for money, the surgery fee is 10,000 yuan. I will immediately pay for it, but I have never heard of anyone doing it. Surgery to see a doctor. His uncle has to pay all the money for his niece's medical treatment. No matter what, the eldest sister and the eldest brother-in-law must have saved a lot of money over the years. Don't be dissatisfied with what Mom says, people have to be conscientious. But I feel that even if you raised me, haven't I repaid you this kindness over the years? I have been working for the family since I was young. You said that I am a boy and should learn to stand upright and protect my parents and family from an early age. So when I was 7 or 8 years old, I started fetching water at home, mixing mud to make coal cakes, and taking out the garbage. I did all the work at home. I even learned how to cook and wash clothes. You said my sister is a girl. Make your hands rough, it will make it difficult to marry in the future, so I did it. When I got older, you said that my sister was a girl and if she was uneducated in the future, she would be laughed at. So I never went to school after I graduated from elementary school. You asked me to replace my father in the factory. From the day the replacement work started, when did I not give you my monthly salary in full? From the time I started working until I got married to Zhang Xian, did you pay for my wedding gift money? When I got married, it was just a banquet for the two families, and I didn't even invite any relatives or friends. And after getting married, not only my salary, but also Zhang Xian's salary will be handed over to you. You have the final say on all household expenses every month. You know very well what you ate and drank at home in those years. Please touch your conscience and tell me, what do you think I should do to be a conscientious person? Who did all that money go to? Sister, brother-in-law, you don't even know? I won't say it, it's not that I don't know, it's that I think we are a family and I don't want to argue with my sister. It's not that I'm stupid. After so many years, Qin Dazhuang finally said these words, a stone was finally lifted from his chest, and he breathed a sigh of relief. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 752. Chapter 752, Taking the Road. 3 of them did not speak. Qin Dao's face turned red. Her brother's words made her look shameless. It's not that she didn't know what her mother had done over the years, but she just felt that she was in the same mental state as her parents and felt that her brother owed them a debt. But seriously speaking, it seems that they have wronged their younger brother. Li Kaoshan also blushed. He was a man, and he felt ashamed when his brother-in-law threw such words in his face. Although he has some greedy little thoughts and some self-interested thoughts of taking advantage. The problem is that he is a man after all. He also hopes that in the minds of others, he is an upright man and is respected by others. In those years, no one said, "Hello, I'm good, everyone is good." The brother-in-law was very talkative, and he was attracted to his mother, and the mother-in-law favored his wife, so he could think it didn't matter. But my brother-in-law suddenly exposed the compromises he had made that had been hidden under the glamour and family harmony over the years. He was also a little unable to hold on. His face was slapped hard. "Dazwang, my brother-in-law has shown my love to you over the years, and I know that I have suffered a lot from you." Li Kaoshan said dryly, but he could not say any other words of gratitude. His mother-in-law doesn't speak, what can he say? Is it wrong to say that the mother-in-law is partial? Then he becomes a bad person who takes advantage and acts like a good boy. Mother of Qin raised her triangular eyes, her eyes full of anger, and stared at Qin Dazwang. This son is different. In the past, this son had never resisted her. At that time, she had always been consistent with the boy and responded to his requests, but now the child has changed. Qin's mother also suddenly realized that the son she thought was obedient to her was gone. Ever since Qin Dazwang pushed her down and put her in the hospital, she should have realized that the son dared to hit someone. Dare to gamble. Dare to do business now. She would still use the previous methods for such a son, but she had made the wrong decision. If Qin Dazwang is really pushed into a hurry, let alone not paying for the 10,000 yuan, Qin Dazwang will really beat Qin's mother out, and bear the reputation of being unfilial. Who can do anything to Qin Dazwang? Should you go find someone to file a lawsuit yourself? Even if Mother Qin is uneducated, she and her husband have been living in the city for so many years, and she still knows it. There is nothing that can restrain Qin Dazwang now. Perhaps in the past, Qin Dazwang was restricted by himself in order to work, keep his job, and have a reputation. At that time, he would go to the factory leaders for any family disputes. The leaders in the factory have great power. If you don't listen, you will be expelled. But now, Qin Dazwang no longer works in the factory. That so-called regular job has long been out of the question. Now if people want to be filial to you and are willing to listen to you, then you are lucky. If they really don't want to be filial, even if they kick you out due to bad reputation, Qin's mother goes to the police. Can the police take care of it? Or contact the Women's Federation? Can the Women's Federation help? If Qin Dazwang was really determined and would not care about anything, tearing off this layer of shame, the one who would be injured in the end would be his daughter and son-in-law. Daughter and son-in-law cannot afford such a reputation. Having been supported by your younger brother and sister-in-law for so many years. Mother of Qin is not smart, but she is not stupid either. If that were the case, those rumors could drive the daughter and son-in-law to death. This matter cannot withstand serious speculation. Even the police and the Women's Federation can't do anything to Qin Dazwang. Filial piety is something that comes from one's heart. You force people to go, but what if they don't agree? Qin Dazwang is not someone who dares not be messy. Qin's mother suddenly remembered that her daughter was knocked unconscious by Qin Dazwang and then robbed her of the money. There was a cold in my heart. How did I forget that this Qin Dazwang looked at and was a good person, but it was ruthless than the average person. If I push Qin Dazwang into a hurry, I might be finished with both myself and my daughter. The tone immediately softened. She didn't come here just to make a fuss. Dazwang, you are right. You have done a lot for your family, your parents, and your sister over the years. Mom is grateful to you from the bottom of my heart. I will do whatever you say. Mother of Qin's words immediately relaxed the atmosphere. As long as Mother of Qin is willing to give in, Qin Dazhuang will not push people to any extent. Qin Dao apologized in a low voice. Dazhuang, it was my sister who wronged you in those years. We borrowed the money from you this time, your brother-in-law and I will definitely pay you back in the future. Li Qiaoshan was anxious. This is 10,000 yuan. What should he get in return? He doesn't even have a job now. The child is sick. For the rest of the money, they had to borrow a lot of foreign debt to scrape together money here and there. Even this amount of money can't be paid. If Qin Dao still bears his brother's foreign debt of 10,000 yuan, then their family will be broken up. Hurriedly winked at Qin Dao. Qin Dao was indifferent. Qin's mother saw her son-in-law jumping up and down anxiously. I felt helpless, wondering why I was so blind that my daughter found such an irresponsible man. Look at this virtue. But what can be done about this? Since my daughter has given birth to 3 children now, she cannot divorce her son-in-law now. No matter how bad Li's backer is, a woman who is married and has children has to live like this. Brother-in-law, don't worry, since I said I would give you this money, I never expected you to pay it back, so you don't need to pay it back. For the sake of his adoptive mother and Qin Dao, Qin Dazhuang never planned to get the money back. After all, an ordinary family cannot afford to have a child's surgery, which is a huge amount of money that will bankrupt the entire family. He is willing to be the one who was taken advantage of just because he is ready to repay his adoptive mother and Qin Dao this time. If his adoptive mother and Qin Dao are willing to get along with him peacefully, then they will still be relatives and interact like ordinary relatives. I will also fulfill my filial piety to my adoptive mother and provide for her until her old age. However, if my adoptive mother and Qin Dao continue to be greedy, then this will be the last time. From now on, I will tell the heavens that if Qin Dazhuang does not agree, no one can do anything to him. Although his reputation is bad, there is nothing wrong with his reputation. When I first started gambling, all the neighbors on the street regarded him as a plague and would avoid him when they saw him. Even though he is glamorous now, it is because he is rich. People naturally think of him as Boss Qin, but in private, the things he did back then are not passed down by word of mouth in other people's ears. Who can regard him as a good person? Since he can't be a good person and would have to be wrong to be a good person, he would rather be a bad person. At least being a bad person can make him a little bit cleaner and he can be worthy of his children. The money he left for his 2 daughters is definitely not left for others to waste. Qin Dazhuang was cruel. Li Qiaoshan breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately his brother-in-law was on the way. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Lucky Bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 753. Chapter 753 Promise. Qin Dao gritted his teeth. It was really surprising that Qin Dazhuang could say this. She thought that based on Qin Dazhuang's previous character of not recognizing his relatives, Qin Dazhuang would have to settle things with them, and she was mentally prepared. After her daughter had the surgery this time, the couple would work hard to earn money to pay back the debt. Give to others. Who would have thought that Qin Dazhuang could actually say these words? It made her feel ashamed. She was not as good as this younger brother. Although this younger brother also gambled, he was also a bastard. But when it comes to big issues of right and wrong, he looks like a man who stands upright. No. Even if you have money, you have earned it with your own hard work, and it is not brought by the strong wind. Although I am your sister in name, I have never fulfilled the responsibility of a sister in these years, and I have never taken care of you for a day. Even if you owe a favor, you owe it to your parents, not to me. I must pay this money back. Brother, you have to give me some time. Neither your brother-in-law nor I are capable people. At most, he is just an ordinary part-time worker. Your brother-in-law is not good at the factory. I am afraid that the two of us will have to slowly pay you back over many years. Qin Dao's words gave Qin Dazhuang some comfort. His sister has not been close to him since childhood, and various things happened over the years, which made him very dissatisfied with this sister. Although he was an honest man and kept silent, the complaints in his heart accumulated over time and became deeper and deeper. Later, when he knocked his sister unconscious and took away the money, he had actually completely exploded. He has not yet prepared to cover himself up. But after hearing his sister say these words, he still felt that at least this Qin Dao was a decent person. When Mother Qin heard her daughter say those words, she complained in her heart, "This stupid girl." Qin Dazhuang had already said no, but she still rushed to pay him back. "This is not because I am sincerely looking for trouble for myself. I have 3 children at home and my son-in-law is so arrogant. If I really still have more than 10,000 yuan, I don't know how long it will take to pay it off. Speak hastily. You kid, why are you so polite to your brother? If he says you don't have to pay it back, you don't have to pay it back. You should not worry about it in the future and just listen to your brother." Qin Dazhuang smiled. This is the mother of Qin. It is easy to change the country, but hard to change the nature. "Yes, eldest sister, just listen to me." Qin Dazhuang took them home. "It takes almost a day to go back and forth from my eldest sister's house. It's not easy for them to come here, and it's not easy to find him after he moves out. Now that they are here, we still have to quickly settle them in for the night. Fortunately, he bought another house, otherwise he would have to send them to a guest house." Qin's mother was a little surprised when she saw her son's small courtyard. She knew that the house was sold when she left. Just to avoid any future troubles, Qin Dazhuang didn't care about anything just for gambling. At that time, Qin's mother was really afraid that she would die in the hands of her adopted son, so she left without any hesitation and without leaving any room. Although the yard is small, it is kept very clean. There are 5 rooms in the yard, 3 main rooms, 2 side rooms, plus the toilet and kitchen, and it is quite clean. Seeing this yard reminds me of our family. Dezhuang, don't blame mom at that time, you wanted to kill your eldest sister. Mom was scared. Mother of Qin finally spoke out, barely apologizing. "Mom, please stop talking. I really didn't look like a human being at that time. I was worse than a beast. Not only did I hurt you, but I also knocked the eldest sister unconscious and took away the money. It was right that the house you sold then left with the eldest sister. Otherwise, if you follow me, I don't know what I will do." It should be said that he was a little concerned at first, but now there is nothing to care about. If you think about it in another person's shoes, I'm afraid that what I did is the same as my mother's. At that time, no one has any choice but to protect themselves. The only person who can reason with a gambler and save him is his own father-in-law and mother-in-law. Only kind-hearted people would do this. Stayed for one night. The next day, Qin Dazhuang left 200 yuan for his sisters at home and asked them to find ways to eat and drink by themselves today. "Go to the store by myself." He has told his sister and brother-in-law that he will stay another day today, and he will go to the store to help them raise money and bring the money back to them in the evening. The couple are still anxious about their daughter's surgery. They plan to get the money today and go back early tomorrow morning. Qin Dazhuang left. There are only 3 of them left at home. Li Kaoshan went for a walk around the streets. It took a lot of effort to come to Kyoto. No matter what, this is the great Kyoto. This is the capital of the country. If he doesn't take a look around, he would be sorry for himself. He didn't have time to take a look around when he came to his mother-in-law's house. "Since I married my wife and returned home, I have never been to Kyoto again, and I have no time to wander around here. Today is considered a blessing." Mother Qin went out and walked around the neighborhood. When she came back, she mysteriously pulled her daughter into the house. Dao was still wearing the pancake apron that he had prepared, but was pulled into the house by his mother. "Mom, what's wrong with you?" "Dao, I just went out and walked around, and I found out from my neighbor that your brother bought this house. Your brother is a rich man now. I have supported your brother so much, now let him have filial and filial to me. It's still the same as before, I'll give you the money as a subsidy. This way you and your backer can live a good life." When the old lady thought about it, her daughter's life was not going as well as she wanted, and the daughter was only willing to take 10,000 yuan. The daughter and son-in-law would have to borrow the rest of the money from everywhere, and they would all be in debt. "I was so anxious that I couldn't sleep last night, but today I came up with a plan." Mom, just calm down for a while. My brother is not having an easy life now. It's not like you don't know that my sister-in-law and her 2 daughters have divorced and left. My brother is alone now. Although he says he doesn't have to worry about his life now, he still has to earn money. Money isn't easy either. Don't make such nonsense. If you want to live with your brother, I agree. After all, you can only live a miserable life with us. But don't be like before, my brother is different now. Could you please stop wearing away all the last bits of affection your brother has for us? Dao disapproved 100 times. Although my mother favors me, she has managed to do so after so many years. She also felt extremely guilty in her heart. No matter what, as long as you are a normal person with a little bit of conscience, you cannot approve of your mother doing this all the time. Brother, the whole family has been separated for a long time now. It is very hard to live alone. My mother didn't say she was helping her younger brother, but instead she wanted to get money from her younger brother to subsidize herself. How could she have the nerve to get this money? End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 754. Chapter 754 Introduction to the Target. Why are you such a stupid girl? Mom is wholeheartedly doing this for you. Your brother's life is hard. Who is to blame? It's not his own fault. If he hadn't gambled in the first place, his wife could have left with her 2 daughters. It sounds like it's not all because of him. You can't blame me for this. And I don't care about him. At worst, I will go back with you this time to help him find a wife in the village and bring her back. You can't live alone like this. Marry a wife and have a son, and that will be complete. I'm thinking about him too. Don't say that I don't care about your brother. No matter what, I still raise him to such a big size. Even if I raise a kitten or puppy, he still has feelings, let alone this is a big living person. There must always be a woman around him who knows both coldness and warmth to take care of him. Chin's mother scolded her daughter dissatisfiedly, as if she was a conscientious adoptive mother. Although she had not been good to her son in recent years, after all, she had not left him cold or hungry for so many years. Mom, what you said seems very personal. You can't just find a wife for your brother, you can't just live alone, you still have to have a family. After hearing this, Dao finally smiled. Although his mother was a mean woman, she showed a new kind of motherly love to her. Who can blame her mother? She can't blame her mother either. But the fact that her mother could consider her brother in this way comforted her heart. At least her mother had not lost her last conscience. Look at it, it's funny in your mind, your mother is just a stepmother, abusing your brother all day long, right? Mother of Qin was angry, but at the same time she felt relieved that her daughter was kind-hearted. Qin Dazu brought back 10,000 yuan when he came back in the evening. He bought them tickets to go back the next morning and put the 3 people on the train himself. Watching the 3 people leave, he finally let go of his burden. No matter what, he felt that he was worthy of his adoptive mother and sister's family. He also thought about leaving his adoptive mother here to take care of her in old age, but later he still couldn't open his mouth. He knew that his adoptive mother still cared about her sister in her heart. Even if he left her behind, her heart would not be here. If the adoptive mother really opened her mouth and said that she wanted to live in her place for retirement, he would definitely not refuse, but if she was asked to take the initiative, he really couldn't say it. Since the adoptive mother didn't say anything, the current situation is actually quite good, and the adoptive mother lives with her sister. Perhaps she felt happy in her heart. By next Friday, Qin Dazhuang was planning to drive there to pick up his two daughters when he got off work in the afternoon. He hadn't seen them last week and was already missing the two children. But who knew that before I got off work, my mother would show up again with an uninvited guest. Seeing Qin's mother appearing in his hotel with a pretty girl, Qin Dazhuang was also stunned for a moment. But he still took the person back to where he lived. When the girl saw Qin Dazhuang, she pursed her lips and lowered her head, and her face suddenly turned red. When Qin Dazhuang saw the situation, he felt that something was not right. Is this what he thought? Qin Dazhuang gave Qin's mother a basin of wash water and asked her mother to clean up. After all, she came here in a dusty way, especially after sitting on the train all night. It can't be said to be good, the old lady must have suffered along the way. The girl rushed to take the basin from Qin Dazhuang's hand and waited on the old lady to wash up. "Brother Qin, it's me auntie, I'm here, don't worry." Qin Dazhuang pursed his lips and glanced at Qin's mother. As soon as Qin's mother saw her son's expression, she knew that he had complaints against her. "This child's name is Li Kui. She is the daughter of the workshop director of the water plant in your sister's county. She graduated from high school and is 28 years old. Because her parents are in poor health and her younger siblings are still young, she has been holding off and has not yet married. Your sister and your brother-in-law are taking care of the children in the hospital this time, so I asked Kui to come with me. You also know that I am old and have poor health, so it is really hard to do without someone around me to take care of me. I have been living at your sister's house, and my mother-in-law always looks at me, and I really don't want to look at her, so why don't I just come back to you?" Qin's mother still doesn't know that her son is really obsessed with his former wife, so she is really single-minded. But now that you are divorced, if you don't marry a wife and there is no one around to take care of you, she won't be able to bear it. After all, he is raised as a son, and she is wholeheartedly doing the best for her son. "Mom, since you brought Li Kui here, you and Miss Li will live here. I will live directly in the store at night and not come back to live. It is not convenient for melon fields and plum trees to be together. It is not convenient for Li. The girl will have a bad reputation in the future." Qin Dazhuang could guess what his mother was thinking. She was preparing to introduce him to his daughter-in-law. But he had never planned to remarry, and he still hoped to coax his wife back. Finally, the relationship between his wife and him has eased a lot these days, and they can talk together for a while when they meet. Sometimes we can talk about each other's affairs, just like friends. Qin Dazhuang feels that now it feels a bit like when they were in love together. Qin Dazhuang pondered that even if the water flows slowly, the daughter-in-law will always be soft-hearted. As long as the daughter-in-law does not marry someone else, he has a chance. But if his mother puts a woman next to him and Zhang Xian finds out, then he will get some good results. I put so much effort into trying to make things right, and in the end my wife was so angry that she couldn't tell that she was no longer my daughter-in-law. He can't do this kind of thing. He is different from others, and everyone else has the opportunity to make corrections. This opportunity is rare for me. If you can't grasp it this time, you will really be alone in the future. The two daughters have long known what their father is thinking. He talks good things about themselves in front of their mothers all day long. If he holds back at this time, he would be very sorry for his daughters. "What are you doing? I am an old lady here. Just in case something happens and you are not here, how can she, a girl, be the master of the family?" When Qin's mother saw Qin Dazhuang's behavior, she knew what her son was thinking. "Miss Li, I'm going to have a few private words with my mother. I'm sorry, but you can go out and take a rest in the next room first." Qin Dazhuang kindly sent Li Xiuyi to the next door. Li Xiuyi also knew that the mother and son must be talking about things about themselves, so of course she was embarrassed to stay here. He shyly opened the curtain and went to the next door. End of this chapter. The Lucky Bag is Reborn with Space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 755. Chapter 755 Rejection. Mother of Qin watched the girl leave. Sitting on the edge of the Kong with a sullen face. "You kid. Don't say I brought someone here, you don't know what I mean. You are not young at all. You are at this age, more than 40 years old, and Kui is a young girl, no matter how old she is. And if you can take care of your younger brothers and sisters at home, you will definitely be able to take good care of you in the future. There are also people who are well educated and beautiful. No matter where I am, I'm worthy of you. Mom just hopes that you can get married as soon as possible, start a family of your own, and have someone to take care of you. Of course I can give birth to a son as soon as possible. Mom is dedicated to you." Mother Qin felt that she had simply fed the dog out of kindness. "Mom, since you have opened your mouth to me, I will tell you the truth. I will tell you the truth. Even if I want to get married, I also want to persuade my wife to come back. If I can't remarry my wife, I will never be able to remarry her for the rest of my life. I have no intention of living alone with my 2 daughters after getting married." Qin Dazhuang made his words clear. Mother of Qin is angry. "Why are you still as stubborn as before? What's so good about your wife? She's lifeless and has a face hanging all day long. And she can't give birth to a son. Why don't you take this opportunity to quickly marry another daughter-in-law and have a son? What are you doing?" Qin's mother had always looked down upon Zhang Xian before. If her son hadn't had to live or die at that time, and she had to marry this daughter-in-law, she wouldn't have let Zhang Xian in. At that time, Zhang Xian made such harsh demands and asked Zhang Xian to take over her mother's job in advance. It was not just for the sake of her son. Although it is said that this is her adopted son, not her biological son. However, she was once devoted to this child, and she always considered her child in everything she did. Qin Dazhuang smiled and said, "Mom, you already know that I am stubborn, so don't be angry with me. In this life, I only want Zhang Xian, and I don't want anyone else, so it's okay for you to stay and take care of yourself, Miss Li. Now that I'm here, I'll have a good time in Kyoto, eat and drink well, and then I'll buy a ticket to send him back. But forget about the rest, I really don't have the intention." Mother of Qin turned away angrily. This son is now rich and powerful, and Qin's mother can't do anything with her son like she did before. Besides, how old is Qin Dazhuang now? Ever since he was pushed down by Qin Dazhuang last time, Qin's mother knew that if his son was really cruel, he would also be very cruel to her. Having some scruples and leeway when doing things. Qin Dazhuang got up and went out to arrange for them to eat and drink. As soon as he went out, he saw Li Kui at the door. It was obvious that the girl had heard what he just said, and her face turned green and white. "Brother Qin, do you think so little of me?" Qin Dazhuang didn't expect that this girl was very refreshing. "Ask it directly to your face. Miss Li, I don't want to hide this from you. Although I divorced my ex-wife, I have never let go of her, nor can I let go of her and the children. So I have been thinking about how to remarry her, but she doesn't want to agree. At first, I beat my wife and gambled, which hurt my wife's heart. No wonder he refused to forgive me. But as long as she agrees, I will remarry her immediately. I can only let go of one person in my heart and cannot let go of others. So don't waste your time on me. You look like a good girl at first sight, with good character, capable, and beautiful appearance. You will definitely meet a better man. Qin Dazhuang didn't want others to misunderstand Li Kui's unique appreciation. Look at Qin Dazhuang. At her age, she has not yet married, so she has no advantage in marriage. She is left to be chosen by others, not by others. When someone introduced me here, I really didn't think I would meet any good people. Especially if the other person is divorced. But when I actually met Qin Dazhuang, I felt that this person was a true-hearted person, and I really admired Qin Dazhuang in my heart. This man really wants to save his ex-wife and children without any secret. I didn't meet such a good man earlier. But I heard that this man's wife divorced him because he beat women and gambled. Just hearing this, Li Kui stopped thinking. Once a man hits a woman and gambles, who knows which day he will relapse. Don't look at the hype now, but one day, when you really start beating people again, there will be no place to cry, so others look down on you, which is also a good thing for you. Then I wish you, Brother Qin, that you can bring your wife and children back to reunite with your family as soon as possible. This blessing comes from the heart. Qin Dazhuang nodded. From this look, this girl is actually a good person. I didn't rush towards you because I saw that I was in good condition, and insisted on marrying myself. Li Kui went back the next day. Qin's mother had no choice but to live here, mainly because her son-in-law's family could no longer live there. The mother-in-law and father-in-law saw that they were always living in their son-in-law's house, and the old couple also moved in. They called it a good name and still helped the family take care of the children. This is a good thing. The three old people live at home, which is a big deal. The couple were busy with the child in the hospital and had no time to take care of their family. They couldn't quarrel with their mother-in-law and father-in-law at home all day long. Only then did I think about going back to live with my son. Qin Dazhuang saw Li Xiui off and felt calm, and drove to Jiangxin's tailor shop. This tailor shop in Jiangxin is now very popular. Not only does it make clothes for others, it also processes and sells its own clothes. Zhang Xian saw his car stop and walked out of the store. Why are you here at this time? It's Saturday. You didn't come to pick up the children yesterday. You went fishing with my dad right now. They went fishing with dad, that's okay. My mom came back, so I came late. I originally wanted to take a look at them. It's okay if I don't see them. It's okay if I see you. I know from your mouth that they are fine. My heart will be relieved. Qin Dazhuang looked at his wife greedily. If he hadn't become so violent and greedy for no reason, how could his wife have become a stranger now? Zhang Xian's heart softened when Qin Dazhuang looked at him. It's not that she doesn't know Qin Dazhuang's thoughts about her, but she no longer has that heart. Every time in the dead of night, Zhang Xian couldn't help but think of Qin Dazhuang's ferocious face when he waved his fist at him. But I saw that Qin Dazhuang was so kind to his children and himself. I feel a little bit unbearable. What's going on with two people like this? You drag me, I drag you. Qin Dazhuang, I know you are good to me and your children, but you should find someone to start a family as soon as possible. It is not possible to live like this by yourself. It is impossible for the two of us. Zhang Xian said decisively. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 756. Chapter 756 Recombination. Qin Dazhuang touched his head with a smile on his face. I know, Zhang Xian, you can't forget the things I did back then. But don't persuade me to find someone else. If I really wanted to find someone else, I would have done it a long time ago, but my heart has long been gone. My heart was given to that woman, how could I possibly find someone else again? That's not harming others. I won't make things difficult for you, don't worry, I'm just doing what I should do. What he did at the beginning chilled his wife's heart, and she still has lingering fears. Zhang Xian sighed, Qin Dazhuang, you are still the same as before, why are you so stubborn? This man is still the same as before, a man who will never hit the wall and never look back. I've made a mistake, no matter how much you punish me, you don't have to worry about me, it's what I deserve. You don't have to feel bad for me or be soft-hearted. I, Qin Dazhuang, said that I will only have you as my wife in this life. Qin Dazhuang turned around and left. Etc. Jiangxing calls for people to stay. Qin Dazhuang turned around, and Zhang Xian hesitated. Women are sometimes too easily moved, especially when faced with the man she once loved deeply. Zhang Xian's expression seemed to ignite a fire in Qin Dazhuang's heart. Zhang Xian, are you? Did you have good luck today? Is that what it is? I'm telling you, let's get along, and don't get a marriage certificate yet if you dare to do something to me again, or go back to your old ways. I'm telling you, it's impossible for both of us in this life. Zhang Xian's words made Qin Dazhuang cheer. The tall and strong man rushed over, picked up Zhang Xian and spun her around in the air. Daughter-in-law, whatever you say is fine, I will listen to you in everything. Finally, the clouds cleared and the moon shone brightly, and my wife finally agreed to give herself a chance. Zhang Xian patted him dizzy, Qin Dazhuang, you are going to die, you are dizzy. Qin Dazhuang couldn't help but smile. Qin Dazhuang hugged Zhang Xian tightly and put him down. Looking at the smile on the corner of Zhang Xian's mouth that looked like flowers blooming, Qin Dazhuang was so choked that he couldn't speak. Why are you still crying, Qin Dazhuang, what do you want me to say about you? Zhang Xian knew in her heart that Qin Dazhuang would actually be a good man if he hadn't had those things at the beginning. You are blinded, why are you crying? I have sand in my eyes. I'm happy. I've never been so happy in my life. Don't worry, Zhang Xian, I will treat you and the children well. I'll take good care of you and my daughter. Qin Dazhuang was determined not to let his wife change her mind. Smile openly. Manager Zhang, ouch. Hearing an exclamation, Zhang Xian hurriedly pushed Qin Dazhuang away. It turned out that two of his employees came out and happened to see them hugging each other. Zhang Xian blushed with embarrassment and hurried back to the tailor shop. Qin Dazhuang laughed loudly, and his wife became shy. Zhang Xian has calmed down her mood. Since she is ready to give Qin Dazhuang a chance, she must take Qin Dazhuang home and tell his family about it. Looking at Qin Dazhuang, who had long since disappeared, Zhang Xian couldn't help but smile. This guy left so fast that I didn't even have a chance to give him a few words. This is because he stopped being attentive as soon as he got a wife. I originally wanted to take him home to meet his parents on Saturday, so that he could explain everything to the child, but this man can run so fast. Half an hour later, she heard someone calling her at the door. When Zhang Xian looked up, Qin Dazhuang had changed into a Chinese tunic suit and black leather shoes. His beard had been shaved off and his hair had been trimmed. The whole person looked several years younger. He was carrying a lot of things in his hands. It could be seen that the large and small bags were all nutritional supplements. The corners of his mouth and eyebrows were all filled with joy that he couldn't hide. He stood there with a silly grin on his face. Zhang Xian felt happy. This guy is quite sensible. I have been married to him for so many years, but this guy never brought anything good to his family when he returned to his family. Every time I go back to my parents' home during the Chinese New Year, I am empty-handed, and I feel embarrassed every time. But there is no other way, the money is all in the hands of the mother-in-law, and it would be extremely difficult for them to go back to their parents' house to buy things. Every time I go back to my natal family, I always bring things back from my natal family. I never bring anything to my natal family. Otherwise, when I brought hairtail fish back for the last Chinese New Year, I would have known from Xiaoxio's surprised expression that in those years, in the minds of everyone, her daughter was just trying to take advantage of her parents' family, and how could she be willing to take things from her parents' family? Just now, they originally wanted to ask Qin Dazhuang to go out and buy some fruits and things. After all, this time they came back and they must change their family's previous views on Qin Dazhuang in front of their families, so that they could straighten their backs. Who knew that this guy was pretty smart and knew what he should do? It seems that he has learned a lot from doing business alone in the past few years. At least he is good at this tactful thing. Zhang Xian, go see your parents. Do you think these things are enough? What do you think is missing? I'll buy some more. Qin Dazhuang was afraid of long nights and many dreams, and wished he could go to his father-in-law and mother-in-law today to explain that he and Zhang Xian had planned to get back together. Let the two girls know that her parents are finally getting back together. If the two girls knew about it, they would probably jump 3 feet high with joy. Ask Zhang Xian like this, of course, because he was embarrassed. He had not been like a son-in-law for so many years. The things I did make me feel ashamed even when I think about it. How can a son-in-law go back empty-handed after following his daughter? This is not what his mother did all those years ago. That is to say, the mother-in-law and the father-in-law have a good heart and have never cared about them. Let them carry the big and small bags back every time, otherwise, the mother-in-law and the father-in-law would not be able to let him off easily just because of this. Zhang Xian asked him to come in. The employees of the clothing store were all looking out of the windows, each one smiling, their faces full of joy, and everyone knew it. The ex-husband of my boss rushes here every day. In fact, it is only a matter of time for the two of them to get back together. It can be seen that the boss and his ex-husband Qin Dazhuang are quite compatible. At this moment, seeing the appearance of the two people, everyone was watching the excitement. Of course, it was not the kind of gossip. They just sincerely wished their boss sincerely. After all, it is not easy for the boss to live a life of a woman with 2 children. If this Qin Dazhuang can really change for the better, everyone will be happy if the boss and her ex-husband get back together. Many people in the clothing store can see that Qin Dazhuang is really an honest person. Just because he had been divorced for so many years and hurriedly rushed to his ex-wife to show his attentiveness, we can tell that this Qin Dazhuang has never had any twisted thoughts to find other women. According to many people's thinking, it is better for a couple to live together as their original couple. If they can live together, it is better than the boss looking for someone else. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 757. Chapter 757 Full Fish Feast. Zhang Lei took Li Xiaoyun back home. At the gate, Li Xiaoyun was a little uneasy. You didn't even say hello, so you just took me back. Isn't it appropriate? She didn't expect that Zhang Lei would think of it all. She and Zhang Lei have been in a relationship for a while. The two of them have been in a relationship for a while since they last met again. On the one hand, Li Xiaoyun takes the initiative. As the saying goes, women chase men. On the other hand, Zhang Lei and Li Xiaoyun get along very well. The relationship will naturally fall into place. It has only been more than half a year and Li Xiaoyun is not ready to go to meet the parents with Zhang Lei. Although the parents have met many years ago, at that time, the meeting was just an outsider's status. I am out of the case, at most I see my life-saving benefactor, but now I am different. Now this is my future in-laws. I don't know what her future mother-in-law will think of her. Mainly because Zhang Lei did it on a whim and didn't leave any time for herself to prepare. As a result, she didn't even think about buying anything. She went to her mother-in-law's house empty-handed for the first time. This is too informal. Zhang Lei smiled and held her hand tightly. Why are you thinking so much? It's not like I haven't met my father and my mother before. Bringing you here today does not count as officially meeting your parents. I will formally bring you to meet my parents next time. The longer Zhang Lei and Li Xiaoyun got along, the more he realized that this girl had many advantages that other girls did not have. He is a simple and unpretentious person, conscientious in his work, polite to others, and kind-hearted. The most important thing is that Li Xiaoyun is very beautiful. There is no man who doesn't care about his face. In addition, he has his own principles and his own personality. She is not a submissive woman who listens to others and has no ideas. The longer they get along, the more he feels that Li Xiaoyun is the partner he should find in this life. Brother, why don't you go in? Zhang Xiaoxiao and Song Moding stood at the door with their 5 children, looking at Zhang Lei and Li Xiaoyun. Zhang Lei's face suddenly turned red. This is my sister Zhang Xiaoxiao, this is my brother-in-law Song Moding, and this is my sisters. 4 children and this one. It's my other sister Bai Yi. This one is called Li Xiaoyun and is my target. After introducing all this, Li Xiaoyun greeted Zhang Xiaoxiao politely. Li Xiaoyun didn't meet Zhang Xiaoxiao when she came to Jiang's house last time, so this was really the first time she met Zhang Lei's sister. Zhang Lei has always heard about this sister. According to Zhang Lei, his sister is the treasure of their family. Not only is my sister very capable, but she has also brought huge changes to their family. Especially his brother. He feels very guilty towards his sister. It was her sister who went to the countryside instead of him and allowed him to stay in the city and take his father's place at work. Moreover, all his subsequent work and development were related to his sister. Deep in his heart, his sister was the most important person, is second only to his parents, and even more important than his girlfriend Li Xiaoyun. Sometimes Li Xiaoyun couldn't help but feel jealous of this sister, because it could be seen from Zhang Lei's words both inside and outside. If he encounters danger, Zhang Lei will risk his life to protect his sister. Now I see this beautiful girl with an elegant temperament looking at me gently and extending her hand. Suddenly, I feel that the little bit of unwillingness in my heart suddenly dissipates. The girl in front of her is loved by her brother and has devoted so much to her family. Even if she is loved a little more by her family, this is what she deserves. Just like she is in the eyes of her own parents, that is also the greatest treasure. If your brothers know that they are in danger, they will do their best to protect themselves. Hello, I'm Li Xiaoyun. Zhang Xiaoxiao looked at Li Xiaoyun. Hello, welcome to your sister-in-law. One sentence made Li Xiaoyun blush. Stop bullying your sister-in-law, don't look at how red her face is. Zhang Lei quickly protected his wife. When did I bully my sister-in-law? Zhang Xiaoxiao looked at his elder brother helplessly. I know what it means to forget a girl when you see sex. My eldest brother has not found a partner for so many years. If he doesn't find a partner, he is born with hepatic inflammation. Sister-in-law, you have to take care of my brother. Take a look. Who is he bullying whom? Zhang Xiaoxiao took Li Xiaoyun's arm and spontaneously pulled Li Xiaoyun to complain. Li Xiaoyun blushed with shame. I don't care about you two, you are both bullying. Zhang Xiaoxiao laughed loudly. Let's go in quickly. My mother must be impatient. The daughter-in-law who has been waiting for so many years finally comes to the door today. Brother, it's hard for you to hide it from us. All the children in their family are married, and now only one eldest brother is missing. This is a major worry for the parents. Finally, the bachelor has been solved. It is estimated that the mother will jump with joy when she sees this daughter-in-law. The old couple have long been looking forward to having their grandson in their arms as soon as possible. Fan Qiuying had long heard the sound of her daughter and son talking, but she was surprised why the children didn't come in. Xiao Xiao, come in quickly, why are you lingering at the door? Tang Yu and Beizai rushed in with her sisters, and Fan Qiuying, who was surrounded by 4 children, burst into laughter. "Oh, grandma's big babies are all back, come in quickly, your grandpa will steam fish for you. Your grandpa went fishing today, one braised in braise, one steamed, and your mother's specialty boiled fish. Grandma also made fish balls. Let's have a full fish feast today. There is nothing I can do. My wife went fishing today and had a great success, catching more than a dozen or 20 fish. The fish cannot be kept alive, and if it is not eaten, it will die day by day sooner or later. I happen to know that the children would definitely come back today. Not only Zhang Xiaoxiao and the others would come back today, but my other 2 daughters would also come back with the children." The old couple spent the whole afternoon preparing for the meal in the evening. What the old couple are most satisfied with now is that every weekend, their home is very lively. Their 3 daughters and 2 sons-in-law come back with a lot of children, and the surrounding neighbors are even more lively. This is really family happiness. Every week, the old couple looks forward to this day. I didn't see my neighbors Mr. Song and Mrs. Wu. The 2 families were particularly envious of their prosperous family. Especially since I gave birth to 3 children at a young age, plus adopted Baizai and Baiyi, there are 5 children in the family alone, plus their 2 adults. Grandma still eats fish. Yesterday, my grandfather also went fishing and made a whole table full of fish feast. I just ate steamed fish, grilled fish, and boiled fish all day long. Tang Yuan complained, the disgust on his face amused Fan Qiuying. Your fish is not as delicious as grandma's. Go and call your grandparents, but there is nothing you can do. He caught a fish, and our family also caught a fish. Let's come over and have a meal together, which will save the 2 of them a lot of money. To toss at home. Eating fish anyway, no matter whose house you eat it at, it's not a fish meal. Tang Yuan and Baizai agreed, and the 2 of them ran to call their grandparents. In a short time, not only Mr. Song, but also Mrs. Song came, Mr. Wu and Mrs. Wu also came. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 758. Chapter 758 Happiness. Fan Qiuying looked at Li Xiaoyun, who was helping her in the kitchen, with a look of satisfaction on her face. Just now, his son formally introduced Li Xiaoyun to him, saying that she was his girlfriend. Of course Fan Qiuying knew Li Xiaoyun. When the girl came to their house for the first time, she actually helped her take care of the child for the whole night. Later, she thought about thanking the girl properly, but she didn't expect that when her son came back later, she forgot about it. Mainly because the son said that he forgot where the girl worked. He originally thought it was his son's luck, but who knew his son was so careless? The elder has put this matter behind him. Who would have thought that his son and the girl would have such a great fate? More than a year later, we can actually meet again. It seems that the 2 of them are destined to be together. Fan Qiuying thought that if she said this, her son would get married soon. It seemed that they had to prepare for their son quickly. In fact, over the years, the couple had already prepared everything for Zhang Lei's wedding. Zhang Xian brought Qin Dazhuang back. Zayadai and Lottie held their father's 2 little faces until the sun was shining brightly. On the way, their father told them the news that their mother had promised to be with their father again. The 2 children were so happy that they almost fell there. Cheering, they circled around their parents several times. The biggest wish of the 2 children is that their parents can be together. As soon as the 2 children returned to their grandma's house, they grabbed their father and rushed into the living room. The old man, old Mrs. Song, old Mr. Song, old Mrs. Wu and Mr. Wu were talking and drinking tea there. "Grandpa, Grandpa, my parents are reconciled." Zhang Lishi was stunned, and when he looked up, he saw Qin Dazhuang following Zhang Xian and standing at the door. "Dad." This sound of dad made Zhang Lishi's eyes red. This son-in-law was the one he valued most at first, but who would have thought that the son-in-law would be the one who hurt the couple the most? When I married my daughter to this son-in-law, I thought that this son-in-law was always kind and simple. Who would have thought of this son-in-law? In the end, it was shocking. Watching his daughter pulling the children alone, it's strange that his father felt so good. Over the years, I have tried to find ways to introduce men to my daughter, but my daughter always says that she is disappointed in men. I don't want to have anything to do with men anymore. But my daughter is young, not yet 40 years old. How can she live alone like this? But I couldn't persuade him. Fortunately, I heard from the mouths of his two grandsons that Qin Dazhuang has changed a lot now. Besides, his daughter-in-law Fan Jiuying also told him about Qin Dazhuang's recent meetings and found that this man has changed a lot now. The two granddaughters ran up to them and said, without the permission of their parents, the two children probably couldn't say this. It seems that his daughter has relented, otherwise, Qin Dazhuang would not dare to rush forward like this. Dad, Zhang Xian and I are going to get back together. Please supervise us. I, Qin Dazhuang, will definitely treat Zhang Xian and the two children well in the future. If I continue to be as bad as before, I will be struck by lightning. No way. Good to die. Qin Dazhuang's words were very vicious because he was afraid that his father-in-law would not believe him. He knows that he doesn't have many opportunities, and if he can seize it once, it is his only chance to turn around. Whether he can really get his wife and children back depends on his father-in-law. Zhang Lishi did not look at Qin Dazhuang and called Zhang Xian in. Zhang Xian, come in with me. Qin Dazhuang held Zhang Xian's hand tightly, a little hard. Zhang Xian patted his palm comfortingly, and Qin Dazhuang let go of Zhang Xian's hand. Do not worry. Zhang Xian followed Zhang Lishi into the house. Mr. Song and Mrs. Song asked Qin Dazhuang to sit down. They all heard about the second son-in-law of the Zhang family. Of course, they also heard that the child had changed his ways. Sometimes people say that it is difficult for gamblers to wash their hands in the golden basin, but looking at the way this child looks now, it seems that he has changed his ways. The old couple can't look at others the same way they used to. No matter what, they are guests and have no right to criticize others. After a while, Zhang Lishi and Zhang Xian came out. They saw that the faces of father and daughter were very calm, and it seemed that they had reached an agreement. Zhang Yu and Qin Ming also arrived with their children. Seeing the state of the house, Qin Daji and Li Ziyun appeared. The couple also instantly understood that something must have happened in this family. It seemed that Qin Dazhuang might get back together with his second son. Zhang Yu asked Qin Ming to take the children to accompany her father, and she hurried to the kitchen to help. While eating, I finally realized that it turned out to be a double happiness for my family. The younger brother has a partner, and the second brother is also preparing to get back together with Qin Dazhuang. Zhang Xiaoxiao feels at ease. It seems that his brother will get married soon. In his previous life, let alone getting married, he died on the farm not long after he went there. It is probably the most fulfilling thing in her life to see her brother start a family and have children in the future. Her parents are alive and well, and everyone in the family lives happily. Although everyone has detours, they are still running the road to happiness. She is accompanied by her beloved husband and her own children. Zhang Xiaoxiao smiled softly. It seems that God has been kind to her. After being reborn, she finally got back everything she wanted. Changed everyone's fate. Of course, she didn't know why Fang Xiaowai was reborn. But Fang Xiaowai can only lie on the bed like a dead person now. It is probably the most gratifying thing that I can no longer hinder myself. Song Moding held his wife's hand tightly. There is no other way. The smile at the corner of Zhang Xiaoxiao's mouth is too gentle, and the twinkling stars in her eyes make people want to hold her tightly. Everyone is happy after finishing the meal. Fan Jiuying and Zhang Lishi sent all their children away, and the house was quiet. The two people were sitting in the living room, not feeling lonely. They knew that their son was going to get married soon. Once the son got married, there would be new people in the family and there would be more children. Many years ago, neither of them thought that one day when they were old, they would really enjoy the so-called family relationship. To live a stable life, you don't need to worry about birth, old age, illness, and death. The children are very filial and everyone lives a good life. It is simply a happy life that others cannot imagine. I hope the children will get better and better. Fan Jiuying and her husband looked at each other, and they saw the happiness in each other's eyes. They have gained more than others in this life. Damn it, let's go back and see my mother. Zhang Lishi missed his biological mother. Over the years, he wanted to take her to live with him, but her mother did not agree. He knew that the old lady was still worried about her elder brother. Fan Jiuying nodded, it's time to go back and see the old lady. We have gone back too few in recent years, compared with our children. The two old people on us are not as filial as them. Today is 30, and a new year begins tomorrow. I wish all book friends a happy new year. I wish you all good luck and prosperity in the year of the ox, and I hope you will continue to support the author and never give up. Hey, this is what the author was thinking secretly. Anyway, Happy New Year everyone. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 759. Chapter 759 Plan. Qin Dazhuang went back. Mother Qin looked at her son coming back so late. Dazhuang, are you very busy today? So late. Qin Dazhuang answered with a smile. Mom, I have good news for you. I am planning to remarry Zhang Xi and Zhang Xi and will come back to live with her 2 children in 2 days. Mother Qin's face changed. What? Why do you want to remarry that broom star? That woman can't even give birth to a son. What's the benefit of remarrying her? Mother of Qin disagreed. Zhang Xian didn't look down on that woman before. When she first got married, she pretended to be submissive in front of her. But after giving birth to her first child, she didn't talk down to her mother-in-law because she didn't give birth to a son. All wages will be taken back. Qin's mother made trouble several times, but Zhang Xian remained unmoved and kept taking her own salary. No matter how much trouble Qin's mother makes, it's useless. After all, wages in other factories are paid to herself. This is also an issue that Qin's mother has always had. She feels that this daughter-in-law doesn't listen to her instructions at all, and she has a different heart from her. What's the use of having such a daughter-in-law? And he could not give birth to a son. This is why Qin's mother wanted to find another daughter-in-law for Qin Dazhuang. She felt that finding another daughter-in-law would not only give her son a son, but also find a woman she liked. Mom, I want to inform you that I am not discussing with you. I said that I will only have one daughter-in-law in this life, and that is Zhang Xian. Apart from her, I will not marry any woman. No matter you agree or if you don't agree, I will take her back. I just hope you can be nice to her. If she feels uncomfortable and aggrieved because you don't get along well with her, then I will have no choice but to move out with her. Don't blame me for being unfilial when the time comes. What did you say? Qin Dazhuang, this is how you treat your mother. Are you so unfilial and say such things to your mother for a woman? Why does she feel uncomfortable and aggrieved, but it has become my sin? I've heard that mothers-in-law need to coax their daughters-in-law. Mother of Qin quits. This is not about marrying a daughter-in-law. This is not about getting a bodhisattva to offer at home. Mom, I am 45 this year. In the past 40 years, I obeyed your words and wronged my own wife. You can do whatever you say, but now, For the next 40 years, I just want my wife to live a happy life. Be a little more comfortable and happy. If you don't agree, then I can only move out. Don't say that I'm not filial. You should eat and drink as you should. I will definitely not miss you a point. If you feel like you can't do it, I can hire a nanny to stay with you. But filial piety does not mean that my wife, who has wronged me, must obey you in everything. I can't do this anymore. I married a daughter-in-law and I have wronged her for more than 10 years. I never want her to be wronged again. Qin Dazhuang's categorical words made Qin's mother fall back in anger. It's true that a son cannot help his mother. But she also knew that it would be useless no matter how much trouble she made. The current Qin Dazhuang and the former Qin Dazhuang were not the same person at all. It is absolutely impossible for me to force Qin Dazhuang to obey me as before. If Qin Dazhuang is forced to do anything, this son can really do anything. Mother of Qin could only stop her activities until she saw Zhang Xian. She didn't believe that no matter how powerful Qin Dazhuang was, what could he do? If Zhang Xian couldn't stand up on his own, he would still be the same as before. That is what you deserve, you are the one who suffers. Mother of Qin felt that she had no problem controlling Zhang Xian. How can the daughter-in-law who has been manipulated by her all her life escape from her grasp? As long as Zhang Xian is driven away, can Qin Dazhuang really stay away from a wife for the rest of his life? Qin's mother felt that Qin Dazhuang was rich now. If he married a new daughter-in-law, a daughter-in-law she was satisfied with, and gave birth to a son, that would be a loving father and a filial son, and she would be able to enjoy the blessings of her son. No matter what she said, she still knew that Qin Dazhuang was different now from before, and no one would want to enjoy it with his rich son. But looking at Zhang Xian, she didn't like it. This is how I came up with this idea. A week later, Qin Dazhuang drove Zhang Xian and Zayadai Ladi home. Zhang Xian decided to follow Qin Dazhuang home after a long period of mental construction. It's not that she doesn't know how mean that mother-in-law is. Qin Dazhuang has always promised that as long as Qin's mother wants to do anything bad to them and her daughter, he will definitely take them away. We will not let them continue to suffer as before. Zhang Xian also wanted to see what Qin Dazhuang would do. It was only then that I could go home this time. What a mean and cruel woman Qin's mother is. It's not like she doesn't know that this mother-in-law has been very dissatisfied with Qin Dazhuang since the beginning. I pick my own faults everywhere, but none of them are consistent with this mother-in-law's wishes. Even when she got married, Zhang Xian felt that she had gone too far when she forced her mother to take over her job. Her daughter is unfilial. Fortunately, her family felt sorry for her, so this condition was met. Otherwise, she probably would not have married Qin Dazhuang. From Qin Dazhuang's mouth, she found out that Qin's mother turned out to be her adoptive mother and that Qin Dazhuang had brought her back. This also made Zhang Xian suddenly realize why Qin's mother took all the money from them all those years and gave it to the eldest sister. It turns out that the eldest sister is Qin's mother's biological daughter. But Qin Dazhuang can understand it, because Qin's mother raised Qin Dazhuang with both affection and reason, and her adoptive mother was also a benefactor. As long as you don't abuse him. I must also remember my adoptive mother's kindness, but I am different. She is just a daughter-in-law. For me, Qin's mother has no kindness to me. I have never eaten a grain of rice from Qin's mother. I have not eaten Qin's mother's. One meeting. In the end, he had to follow Qin Dazhuang and suffer in front of Qin's mother. Just thinking about the difficulties and insults I had suffered at the hands of my mother-in-law. Zhang Xian couldn't hold back the fire in her heart. She was no longer the Zhang Xian she was before. It was absolutely impossible for her to endure the grievances and sadness as before. She could no longer let her daughters be beaten by her mother-in-law. So this time she came to see what Qin Dazhuang would do when he faced the same situation as before. Even though Qin Dazhuang is good at what he says now, he is good to her and her daughter, but only when it comes to actual things can we see what kind of thoughts and actions a man really has. In the past, Qin Dazhuang wronged Zhang Xian and his daughter for his mother, but now she wanted to see what Qin Dazhuang would do. Of course, if she is allowed to continue to suffer injustice with her daughter, it is absolutely impossible. At worst, she and Qin Dazhuang will be separated. At any rate, the two of them did not obtain a marriage certificate. She will never let herself and her daughter suffer for others again, no one can. Qin Dazhuang looked at the pursed lips and expressionless look on his wife's face, and knew that there must be a fire in his wife's heart. Right? The mother treated her wife so well back then, but now she allows her to go back and get along with her mother without any grudges. It is him who has made things difficult for his wife. But even if it is difficult, this meeting is inevitable. Even if we live separately in the future, we must meet. No matter what, the adoptive mother still bears the reputation of the elder. End of this chapter. The lucky bag is reborn with space. Author, Floating World. Chapter 760. Chapter 760 on Filial Piety. Mom, we are back. Qin Dazhuang came in carrying things, and Zhang Xian came back with his two daughters. This place Zhang Xian has been to before. It is a newly purchased yard by Qin Dazhuang. Usually Zayadai and Lottie stay here with Qin Dazhuang. Zhang Xian would leave every time he sent the children here. Now is the first time to really walk in. Here he is when he comes. He makes such a loud noise. Why don't he come into the house when he comes? Do you still ask me to go out and invite you in? The two children couldn't help but tremble when Qin's mother's voice came. This mean voice they remember deeply. When they were young, they called them losers and would be punished by 1,000 knives. When they grew up, they would beat them. The two children would never forget this voice. This is almost a conditioned reflex. When they hear this sound, the two people will tremble with fear. Zhang Xian glared at Qin Dazhuang complainingly. Qin Dazhuang felt guilty because he was cowardly and incompetent and made his children suffer. Hold the hands of the two daughters tightly. Don't be afraid, Dad is here and no one can bully you. Zayadai and Lottie finally calmed down and held Qin Dazhuang's arm tightly, which was their safe support. Zhang Xian touched the children's heads and said, "Don't be afraid. Mom won't let anyone bully you. No one can. If anyone dares to bully you, Mom will fight her to the death." This was said to Qin Dazhuang. Qin Dazhuang smiled bitterly. It seems to be a huge difficulty to coax his daughter-in-law back. Look, this is such a big problem just from the beginning. It seems that his thinking was wrong. He should have thought that Zhang Xian and his mother were simply incompatible. He did something wrong and his mother did something wrong in those things at the beginning, which hurt Zhang Xian's heart. It would be extremely difficult to make Zhang Xian feel at ease with them. Moreover, one could tell from the look on her mother's face that she didn't look like she was ready to tolerate Zhang Xian and the others, and she might say something unpleasant when she went in soon. Clenched his teeth and looked down at his daughter and Zhang Xian, just this time. Zhang Xian felt a chill in his heart. Qin Dazhuang was like this before, telling himself this time at every turn, and now he is saying this again. Isn't it just to ask her to give in every step of the way? She has no way of retreating if she has done so before. Who is taking care of her and her daughter in this family, and now this is the case. Seeing the disappointment in Zhang Xian's eyes, Qin Dazhuang gritted his teeth and opened the curtain. Zhang Xian led the two children and strode in without hesitation. To see the truth, you have to go in, just this time anyway. If Qin Dazhuang disappoints himself this time, then they will have no future. Mother of Qin sat cross-legged on the bed, her mouth pouted, her face full of gloom, and her triangular eyes drooped. Although she didn't stare, the atmosphere in the room was very solemn. Zhang Xian came in with Zhao de Lottie. "Hello, Mom." Zayadai Lottie called people in a low voice. "Grandma! Grandma!" The two little girls were like mice after seeing a cat, shivering and leaning against their mother. I was afraid that this grandma would throw things over if she started to do it. This grandma often did this in the past. Sitting cross-legged, he could take off his shoes and throw them over to use as weapons. The two of them were often beaten like this. Mother Qin raised her eyes and glanced at Zhang Xian sideways. Originally I thought Zhang Xian would divorce her son and live as a woman with 2 children. I even know how difficult it is to live a good life. The little salary you earn is definitely not enough to spend, and you have to be subsidized by your parents' family. It can be imagined that Zhang Xian must be full of vicissitudes of life now, looking haggard and aged several years. But who would have thought that the Zhang Xian that Mother Qin saw was completely beyond her expectation? Not only was she wearing a fashionable coat, but she also had an outstanding temperament, a rosy face, firm eyes, and a smile on her lips. It's very dazzling. It is completely different from the submissive Zhang Xian I saw before. Now this Zhang Xian seems to be a different person, even the two little girls are different. The clothes he wore were 100 times better than those of his granddaughters, and they looked like those dolls dressed up in the city. The trousers and clothes on her body, the small leather shoes on her feet, and the flower on her head all made Qin's mother's face sink. This money must have been given by Qin Dazhuang. Needless to say, Qin Dazhuang has made so much money now. As long as he wants to get back together, Zhang Xian's family will still cling to his son regardless of the conditions. All the money was spent on the mother and daughter. Thinking about it, Qin's mother felt sorry for the money, and Qin Dazhuang was reluctant to give it to his eldest sister or his niece. The same woman, what kind of life did her daughter live, and the dissatisfaction in her heart reached its peak. As usual, Mother Qin took off her shoes and threw them away. The target he aimed at was Zhang Xian's face, because when he saw Zhang Xian's carefully groomed, rosy and fair face, he couldn't help but feel angry. This woman used to rely on this vixen face to seduce her son into all kinds of confusions, completely ignoring herself as a mother. Now it is like this again. Her son came back and told her disobediently and unfilially that she was just informing herself that she was so forceful. Tell yourself that there is no one else but Zhang Xian in this life. It's not just this woman who did it. She was still the same as before. In her mind, she still regarded Zhang Xian as the daughter-in-law who she had let her crush and round, and would either beat or scold her when she came up. She wanted to slap Zhang Xian's face with the sole of her shoe to see if this woman dared to smile at her so arrogantly. What are you laughing? What face is smiling at me? A divorced woman with 2 daughters is still smiling at me. You still have the nerve to call me mom, but who is your mom? You are divorced from my son, you have no skin and shame, you dare to call me mom when you enter the door. Qin Dazhuang took a step forward and stood in front of Zhang Xian and the children. The shoe hit Qin Dazhuang's shoulder and fell to the ground. Mother of Qin obviously did not expect this. The son had never done this before, but now he actually rushed forward to protect the mother and daughter. Mom, it seems that you didn't take what I said to heart. Since you don't want to see them, mother and daughter, then I will take them away. You will live here from now on, and I will find a nanny for you tomorrow. The nanny will take care of you. You eat and drink. I will give you living expenses every month, and you don't need to think about anything else. From now on, I will take the mother and daughter to live outside and won't disturb you. Speaking, he took his daughter and Zhang Xian and left. Qin's mother suddenly jumped on the ground with one bare foot and tightly held Qin Dazhuang's sleeve. Dazhuang, you are so cruel. I am your mother. No matter what happens, I raised you. You just left your mother here to fend for yourself for these 3 women. You are worthy of me raising you so big? Aren't you afraid that the neighbors will laugh at you for being unfilial? Qin Dazhuang threw Qin's mother's hand away. If you really want to say that, feel free to do whatever you want. Don't blame me for being ruthless and unrighteous. Since you want to say that I'm unfilial, you don't have to hire a nanny, and you don't have to pay living expenses. You can no longer live here. You have to think clearly whether you want to say that I am unfilial or not. And these are not just 3 women, these 3 women are my wife and daughter, the people closest to me in the world. I made them suffer during those 40 years, and now I owe them this, and I must pay it back. He led the 3 people out, leaving Mother Qin standing there dumbfounded. End of this chapter.